Guys, it's me, Miss Norris, and today I'd like to share a fun read aloud with you that honors Black History Month. The story that I'd like to share with you today is called Ada Twist Scientist, and Ada Twist Scientist was written in 2016 by Andrea Beaty, and it was illustrated by David Roberts, and it tells this fun story of Ada Twist and how she wants to become a scientist. If you're ready to hear the story, I'm ready to share it with you. Here we go. Ada Twist, Scientist. And it's fun to say. Ada Twist, Scientist. Uh-oh. I had a hard time getting to the first page. There we go. Sorry about that. Ada Marie, she said not a word till the day she turned 3. She bounced in her crib and looked all around, observing the world, but not making a sound. She learned how to climb and made her big break, with a trail of chaos left in her wake. She ran through the day, chasing each sound in sight, and it didn't slow down till she conked out at night. She doesn't have much to say, but she's learned to climb and escape and find out more about her, and she explored until it was time to sleep. Her parents were frazzled but tried not to freak as Ada grew bigger and still did not speak. Clearly, young Ada, with lots in her head, would have something to say when it ought to be said. So her parents are a little worried that their 3-year-old's not talking, but they're trying not to freak. And they just figure as soon as she's ready, she will speak. That's just what happened when Ada turned 3. She tore through the house on a fact-finding spree and climbed up the clock just as high as she could. Her parents yelled, "Stop!" as all good parents would. Ada's chin quivered, but she did not cry. She took a deep breath and she simply asked, "Why?" So the first thing that she said in her entire life. Why? Why stop? Why does it tick and why does it talk? Why don't we call it a granddaughter clock? Why are there pointy things stuck to a rose? Why are there hairs up inside of your nose? She started with why, and then what, how, and when. By bedtime, she came back to why once again. She drifted to sleep as her dazed parents smiled at the curious thoughts of their curious child, who wanted to know what the world was about. They kissed her and whispered, "You'll figure it out." So she didn't have a lot to say, and now she has lots of questions. Why does the plant look like this? What is in this nose? How does this light bulb work? When do things stick to a magnet? And she'd ask and ask and ask and try and try and try. And her parents just know that she'll figure it out. Her parents kept up with their high-flying kid, whose questions and chaos both grew as she did. So as Ada got bigger, her questions got bigger too. Why, what, how, when, why? What does it do? How soon is now? Can I? Why? How can I find out? Why does it? How does it? Will it be the same? What if? Why? Will it? When will it? When? What? She has lots and lots of questions. But her family seems to be helpful and they want her to ask questions. Even Miss Greer found her hands were quite full when young Ada's chaos wreaked havoc at school. But this much was clear about Miss Ada Twist. She had all the traits of a great scientist. The only thing you need to be a scientist is a question. Why? Who? What? Where? When? What will happen? And Ada understands that right now. Ada was busy that first day of spring, testing the sounds that make mockingbirds sing, when a horrible stench whacked her right in the nose, a pungent aroma that curled up her toes. "Zowie," said Ada, which got her to thinking, "what is the source of that terrible stinking? How does a nose know there's something to smell, and does it still stink if there's no nose to tell?" She rattled off questions and tapped on her chin. She started at the start, where she ought to begin. A mystery, a riddle, a puzzle, a quest. This was the moment that Ada loved best. So she smelled something, and she wants to know why. And there's a lot of things that could be smelling, but it might be these shoes? I don't know, but it smells, and Ada wants to know why. Ada did research to learn all she could of smelling and smells, both the stinky and good. One hypothesis Ada thought could be true: the terrible stink came from Dad's cabbage stew. She tested and tested, but soon Ada knew it was time to come up with hypothesis 2. So she's testing dinner, it looks like, to see if that's what is being so stinky. But she's a hypothesis is a fancy word for a guess. And her first guess was the stew, but now she's thinking about hypothesis number 2. Let's see if she has what her next hypothesis is. Then zowie! The stink struck again, just like that. Hypothesis 2. It's caused by the cat. The cat couldn't make such a stink on its own. It needed perfume and some fancy cologne. So young Ada tested. The test was a flop. She started again, but her parents said, "Stop!" So she's put a lot of perfume and smelly stuff on the cat. And when that went, she was going to wash the cat. But her parents saved that cat's life. Ada just wants to know more. Ada Marie, to the thinking chair now. By the time we count to 3. "Enough," said her mother. "That's it," said her dad. Her parents were frustrated, frazzled, and mad. "Why?" Ada questioned. Her mother said no. "What?" Ada queried. Her father said, "Go." "You've ruined our supper. You've made the cat stink. Enough with your questions. Now sit there and think." She looked at her parents. Her heart turned to goo. Poor Ada Twist didn't know what to do. So her family's kind of had it now. They're like, "We've helped you, but now it's time. You've ruined some dinner and you made our cat stinky. You need to go think about what you need to do with your life." She sat all alone by herself in the hall, and Ada once more could say nothing at all. She's in her thinking chair, and she's not talking once again, back to when she was less than 3. And so Ada sat, and she sat, and she sat, and she thought about science and Stu and the cat, and how her experiments made such a big mess. Does it have to be so? Is that part of success? Are messes a problem? And while she was thinking, what was the source of that terrible stinking? Ada Marie did not did what so, I'm sorry, Ada Marie did what scientists do. She asked a small question, and then she asked two. And each of those led her to three questions more, and some of those questions resulted in four. As Ada got thinking, she really dug in. She scribbled her questions and tapped on her chin. She started at why, and then what, how, and when. At the end of the hall, she reached why once again. So she started thinking, and her thinking led to questions. What is the stinking? Is it the cat with perfume? Is it the cabbage stew? Is it the cat and the cabbage? And by the time she got all the way down the hallway, oh my goodness, she was back to why again. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to show you this picture that Ada drew on the wall. But just know that if I did this in my house, even if my mama loved me, and she does, I'd be in some trouble. Her parents calmed down and they came back to talk. They looked at the hallway and just had to gawk. No patch of bare paint could be seen on the wall. The thinking chair now was the great thinking hall. They watched their young daughter and sighed as they did. What would they do with this curious kid who wanted to know what the world was about? They smiled and whispered, "We'll figure it out." So they don't want to punish Ada for thinking, but they have to figure out a new plan because they can't have her drawing on the walls all the time. And that's what they did, because that's what you do when your kid has a passion and a heart that is true. They remade their world. Now they're all in on the act of helping young Ada sort fiction from fact. She asks lots of questions. How could she resist? It's all in the heart of a young scientist. So they solve one problem by giving her a big roll of paper so she can just keep her ideas going. And now the family can be calm and cool with Ada. And as for that smell, what can Ada Twist do but learn all she can with friends in grade 2? Will they discover the stink that curls toes? Well, that is the question, and someday, who knows? So she's getting her class to help her this time. Everyone is smelling different things and trying to find where the big smell comes from. The end. There's that cat cleaning himself and her family. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you really enjoyed the story of Ada Twist, Scientist. If you did, please hit that thumbs up at the bottom of the page. If you're already a subscriber, thank you so much for your support. It really means a lot to me. If you're not a subscriber yet, please click that subscribe button at the bottom of the page, and don't forget to click the bell to get notified when there's new videos coming out. I'm sorry, I got tongue-tied. And Twisted, Ada Twisted. And last but certainly not least, I'd like to say a big thank you to the entire Howie family who loaned me some wonderful books from their own personal library, and I can't wait to share them with you. Thank you for listening, and thank you, Howie family, and I'll see you all again real soon. Bye-bye.